Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan, trader and technical analyst with the Chart Guys, and I look at charts on holidays. We're going to be looking at the broader market major sectors, and then we're going to zoom into a bunch of individual names with more volatility, the AI sector, crypto stocks, places I'm looking for laggard bull action. Happy 4th of July.
All right, so we know the bulls are in full control. We know we're not trying to nail tops, and we know that the burden is on bears to prove to us that things are shifting. We also know that bears are not sneaky. We will see high bear volume. We will see all major sectors, QQQ, XLF, XLV, all dropping at the same time if things are shifting. If that is not happening, things are not shifting. Keep it as simple as possible. We don't need to make this harder than it already is. So SPY hit a new 52-week high to end this past week. You can see on Monday, inside bar, very low volume, and pretty much just digesting the bull move from Friday. And what I have a question of for the first thing this coming week is, does the NASDAQ join with a new 52-week high by breaking 372.34? We're about 0.6% away from that level right now. If we break it, then we see continuation of the uptrends. Our new key higher low will be 357.59. And again, just as simple as possible, when's the last time QQQ has given us a clear daily lower high and lower low? And the answer is that has not happened all of May, all of June, and now into July. So over 2 months, it has not happened. We will see it happen when it happens. If we fail the 52-week high in the NASDAQ, we're going to look for a pullback and a daily higher low, anything above 357.59. There are a number of names that have similar setups to what we're seeing here to varying degrees. Many names have broken to higher highs, like Tesla. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Other names have a ton of space for a lower high, like the AI sector names. We'll talk about them in just a moment. And other names are testing resistance right now, like QQQ. So the semiconductors, 155.94 on SMH's resistance. That's about 1%, 1.5% from where we stand right now. Again, same question on Wednesday. Do we break that level and just see strength and continuation? Or do we lose the stair-step pattern of a higher low every day for the last 5 days and start to consolidate within a tightening range? So the burden is on bears to prove to us that lower highs are forming on the names that have not broken resistance yet. NVDA is a little bit further away in terms of percentage from resistance. So anything under 440, just a lower high. And if we break the low of Monday on Wednesday, the lower high will be set. And it's then all about the most important support level of 401. I personally don't like any bullish entries aside from, little day trades. I don't like any bullish swing entries without daily consolidation at this point, just because the S&P 500 over the last number of days has gone up 3% with no daily consolidation. So again, we don't want to be chasing for bull entries. We want to be entering on consolidation, looking for higher lows and for uptrends to continue. So it will definitely stand out to us if NVDA fails and heads back down towards 401 support. Aggressive bears are keeping an eye out for it. Healthcare sector, bull break on Friday into a pretty solid pullback on Monday. We filled this gap back here. And what we're watching for is the weekly equilibrium to continue tightening up. So I'm anticipating the most likely scenario is a lower high compared to 135.25. We can definitely head up and break that level, but we would need some clear bull volume if that were going to happen. And in the absence of that, we're going to look for a lower high and a continued tightening range, probably into August. But same thing, the bears have to prove to us that that weekly lower high is being set, and they need to do so by losing this daily support. We built a base of support at 130. That level would have to be lost for the weekly lower high to be shaping up. Financial sector, a lead bull this past week in response to the stress test that we had and the results from that, which were bullish, and then there was some buyback news announced in the sector, and so it led to a higher high. Again, the big question I have over the next couple months for the financial sector is, do we set a monthly lower high for a continued tightening range? That's entirely possible as being on the table, because that monthly lower high, it's anything under 36.76, and that is still about 8.5% from where we stand. And if we were to see this monthly range tighten up, it can definitely do so into the end of the year. Q4 maybe. And we do have the financial sector earnings starting. I believe it is next week, the end of next week. So that's something we're going to be keeping an eye on as well. IWM is testing daily resistance 189.24, so similar to QQQ in that regard. Space for a higher low attempt if we fail. And again, big picture, same as the financial sector. Do we set a monthly lower high to continue trading within this tightening range, which has been tightening for over a year? Do we set a lower high compared to 198? And that resistance is still over 5% away, so entirely possible. And again, if we do, things are going to slow down and get really tight for some potential fireworks into the end of the year. So burden on bears to prove to us that those longer term lower highs are being set, and at the moment there's no indication of that. Tesla, bull reaction to delivery numbers over the weekend. Big gap up open, heading to higher highs over that 258 top that we had previously. A little bit of profit taking after a big surge up on the morning. A little base now at 275 to be watching as a short-term support level. We would have to break that level for an hourly downtrend to confirm. So the consolidation we saw after the morning pop still set an hourly higher low. If we break 275, we're going to look for daily consolidation. The gap to fill would be 264.45 to be watching. Plenty of space for a daily higher low to try and form, and it will be on back burner watch, looking for first hourly oversold conditions, just like the solid hourly bounces from oversold conditions that we've seen recently. Just looking back over the last month in June, hourly RSI got oversold here in extended hours for significant upside, got oversold here first thing on the morning for a big old bounce, and then got oversold again on the 26th before this most recent move up. So bulls are still buying dips in Tesla as far as resistance. There's a couple levels at 289 I'm watching from back here. Just a little bounce where we topped out 2 days in a row there, right up at 289. ARKK. So already broke resistance. Again, the similar setup to so many names, but there's varying degrees. Who's broken, who's testing, and who still has a ways to go. You can just have a list of tickers next to your computer and organize them that way. So ARKK with the bull break on the daily. Plenty of space for a daily higher low as the result of next consolidation. I am interested, looking for a daily higher low entry from here because the weekly bull flag is confirming, and this is definitely cup and handle like psychology. We failed resistance, we formed a weekly bull flag, and now we're testing 45.46. If that level breaks, the monthly inverse head and shoulders confirms, and the 4-month bounce gets underway. Most things are seeing 4-month bounces underway right now. And anything that is not, we're watching to shape up. So ARKK, definitely a laggard bull over the last bunch of months, but building a long-term base of support and trying to shift momentum into uptrends on every time frame. And if we break 45.46, we have an uptrend on every time frame again for ARKK, and it's the first time we can say that since all-time highs. So it would be a notable change in the character of this chart. Next level would then be 53.86 as a key resistance. And ARKK benefiting from the Tesla gap up open on Monday, as Tesla is a big part of the holdings. Speaking of monthly inverse head and shoulders, we're watching BABA to try and set up the same thing. Again, keeping an eye on laggard names. So watching Chinese names to try and shift momentum because they have been weak and we know the market has been strong. So we have a potential for a monthly inverse head and shoulders here, but we don't have any confidence that the monthly higher low has formed yet. And BABA is one of the weaker Chinese stocks that I'm keeping an eye on. You can see here on the daily chart, we had a big bull move up, but we gave a lot of it back, and we are in a clear downtrend. Even the bull move on Monday closed at the low of the day. So the bears are in control as long as we're in a daily downtrend. But if you compare it to some other names, there's some notable differences in these Chinese names. YINN is a 3 times leveraged ETF. You can see it looks very different. We held support and broke resistance. Granted, there was profit taking on Monday, but that was also the highest level we've seen in over a week, and the weekly higher low is set. And we know that if we're going to set a monthly right shoulder on these inverse head and shoulders patterns, we have to confirm the weekly uptrend. And so now we've got a weekly higher low and a must-hold support of 32.80, and the bulls need to break 30, make that 43.25 to confirm the first weekly uptrend that we've seen pretty much in the last 5 months. Baidu is stronger than Baba. Baidu has already set the weekly higher low and is trying to shape up the monthly trend change as well. So monthly higher low already set, must break 161, and now we have a weekly higher low. Other names that I'm watching are XPEV. So the Chinese EV names have had relative strength recently, and you can see this huge move up, over 100% move in the last month of trading, essentially 5 weeks of trading for XPEV. And it was the same thing, just watching for it to be a laggard. We could see that there was a lack of resistance after 1310, and once we broke 1310, the bulls went very quickly, 10% follow through. Bull cross of EMA 12 and 26 for the first time in a very long time. And again, just a long-term bottoming pattern that is now trying to shift the scales. Essentially, it's just supply outweighing demand for a significant period of time. The scales start to do this as supply and demand even out, and now the scales are trying to tilt with demand exceeding supply. So XPEV is going to be on hourly back burner watch for first hourly oversold conditions, looking for a daily higher low next time we see that. NIO is in the same category of Chinese EV names. It's weaker overall, but it's trying to put in a long-term bottom here as well. Another place I'm watching for laggard action is the solar sector. So TAN has been struggling overall. I'm watching for a monthly higher low to try and form compared to 62.97, because if we get that, then this year-long equilibrium continues to tighten up. So for me, a higher low compared to 62.97 is more likely than not. Weekly perspective is a potential falling wedge to be keeping an eye on. Something along these lines. And if this breaks bull, the monthly higher low will be set. Anything under 74.28 is just a lower high. But again, keeping an eye, struggling this battle with EMA 12. Remember when IWM was struggling with EMA 12 on the weekly? Just couldn't get over it. And then the bull said, all right, time for these laggards to go. So I'm watching for TAN to do the same thing. Are the bulls going to reject from EMA 12 for months and then say, all right, time for these laggards to go? We'll see. We're keeping an eye out for it. Volatile names. So AI. I did stop out of the remainder of my swing position and entered the swing position. I forget if it was this Monday or Tuesday here. But we broke the low of Friday, which to me was shaping up the daily lower high. And the bulls had a V-shaped recovery from morning weakness. We dropped considerably. We had significant relative weakness and then a complete recovery. So, at this point, not frustrated about being stopped out because I stuck to a game plan. But if we had higher highs over 48.97 or 48.87, which I don't think is the most likely scenario, then I might get a bit frustrated. But watching for a lower high compared to that level. And again, officially on the daily, it was set with 0 follow through on Monday. So curious to see how Wednesday trades here. And we can also zoom out to the 2-day time frame and say, is this a 2-day head and shoulders shaping up? Other peer PLTR also broke the low of Friday, but only by a couple pennies. Same thing. Are we going to set a lower high compared to 1691 into a tightening daily range, or can bulls keep short-term control? And on Friday or on Monday, they were slipping, but they are still keeping control. SOUN has been a low cap name we're watching in the AI space. These are pretty much the three main names that I'm watching. Daily higher lows set at 420. That's now the most important support level. Keeping in mind we have run 100% in the last month, and watching to see if that means weekly consolidation is potentially shaping up after a little inside bar is shaping up so far in this very minimal amount of trading we have this week. Crypto stocks volatility has been beautiful. So we were keeping an eye out for MARA to potentially be a 4-hour rising wedge. And on Monday, the bulls said nope and broke above it. So keeping full control, preventing daily consolidation at this point, and in an area with a lack of resistance. Once we cleared 1283, It was up to 1562 from there, and 1564 was the high of Monday. After 1562, if we get any follow through, we're then going to be looking at 1582, 1667. So again, another name that is putting in a longer term bottom attempt and trying to shift momentum. And Bitcoin is currently keeping strength as well. And these crypto stocks have been stronger. RIOT had been weaker than MARA, but a big catch-up day on Monday. Have to get over 1443 to try and join in on the fun. And Coin also in big-time breakout mode. Huge day on Monday. And squeezing shorts. Bunch of shorts piled into this name on SEC news back in May and early June. And they are all underwater right now as Coin tries for the same monthly inverse head and shoulders that we're looking at on ARKK and some of these Chinese stocks. And if Coin breaks 87.63, the monthly uptrend confirms for the first time in a very long time. And again, a lot of this has to do with recent Bitcoin strength. So definitely keeping an eye on that as well. But the trading opportunity, we on a Monday half-day holiday, normally you get a little volatility in the first hour and a half, 2 hours, and then that's it. But these crypto names provided day trading opportunity all Monday. So again, if you are a day trader, these names have your volatility as far as opportunity in both directions, but obviously favoring bulls. And I attempted to look for a short on Monday, which obviously was the wrong direction, and was fortunate enough to just fail 2 attempts with 2 break-even stop-outs. And the reason I was looking short is because I was looking for Bitcoin to reject. First off, I was looking for this little resistance zone at 1241 on Riot, but I was looking for Bitcoin to reject from its resistance, and it didn't break resistance, but these crypto stocks just showed a significant amount of relative strength. So that was my reminder for stop losses, being in the wrong direction, a couple break-even stop-outs, and I did have some long plays as well, but shorter-term flips. But again, daily basis, I'm looking to these names for trading opportunity. The dollar weekly equilibrium continues to tighten. So weekly higher low is set at 101.92. Anything under 104.70 is just a lower high, anticipating that we're going to tighten up for another couple of weeks at least. But the metals and miners are finally getting my attention for the first time in a couple months. And you can see gold here, still a clear daily downtrend, but the weekly stair-step pattern. We've got a lower high every single week for 2 months, and that's likely to break this week. If we get over 1934, weekly stair-step bull break for aggressive bulls, we have silver working on a daily uptrend with a more developed bounce. Have to get over 2310 for that bull break to take place. And the miners showing some nice relative strength the last 3 days. Look at the close at the high of the day. So gap down open into a little temporary bottom. Weekly stair-step for 2 months, breaking bull. And bulls at this point will be looking for entries on daily higher lows. And the plays will be, whenever we top out, scout an entry on the higher low, stop under the low, and look for the bulls to try and confirm the daily uptrend. Any plays in metals and miners need to see the dollar break that weekly equilibrium bearish. If it breaks bullish, metals and miners bull plays are not going to go very far, in my opinion. Oil, still not a ton of clarity for me, but at this point I'm watching this tightening range where if we fail 72.72, we'll look to continue tightening up. Also just keeping the weekly EMA 12 as my resistance guide because it's been resistance for 6 weeks at this point. But tightening 2-day range, if you want to smooth it out, 2-day time frame. And we'll see how that breaks soon. And natural gas, keep it simple. If daily EMA 12 is support, the bulls have full control. If they lose it, things are shifting into weekly consolidation. So we held it a couple times last week. We held it on Monday. So bulls keeping the daily uptrend and EMA 12 support. So that's where we stand with a couple more trading days this week. I guess a few more, 3 more. And then back into earnings season shortly after. So watching for, again, as long as the broader market bulls keep full control, and even a couple days of consolidation here and there is expected in an uptrend, if they keep full control, look for the laggard bulls to continue seeing shifts and seeing rotation. Bears will show us when they're shaping up in the broader market, when they're showing up in the broader market. And on a day-to-day basis, there's volatility in Tesla, NVDA, the crypto stocks, and the AI names. And that's pretty much been my dose of daily activity, is just sticking to those things and having plenty to trade. Feel free to ask any questions. Have a great 4th of July and do good things.